Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today is your mayor of Fitchburg, Aaron Richardson. Aaron, welcome back to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing very well. Glad to have you back on the show. It's been a while. You've been busy. It's budget season on top of COVID pandemic. So nothing like keeping busy. Plus, you still got to work and do everything else. So we appreciate appreciate your time and glad to get an update from you. We'll start with COVID-19 and the pandemic. Taking a closer look here in the city of Fitchburg. From your eyes, how is the city government doing, and how is the rest of the city doing as well?
I think from a city perspective, you see people really everywhere, not just in the city, just having fatigue and being sick of this and sick of dealing with this. And I think that's some of what's behind the influx and the increases in cases lately is people just getting a little bit lackadaisical. And it's not that they don't care, but they're sick of not being able to go and sit in a restaurant and hang out with friends and do the things that they used to do, which I understand. It's been over 6 months now. So from that perspective, I understand it, but we need to still be as vigilant as possible. From a city perspective, staff is still phenomenal, doing a great job, keeping things running. There's obviously some things that we can't do, like rec programs. I know our senior center is trying to do some things with the seniors on a small basis, just a couple people at a time whenever possible. But, we're doing a great job overall, I think, in providing services to the residents like we should be.
Yeah, and I know the answer to this question because I'm working internally as staff. But is our the government entity here, City Hall, still fully functional? Like, I think people may not know what is happening behind the scenes. So just because the building's closed, what's happening with all the departments?
Still 100% functional, except for programs like the rec department stuff. We just got the official word or gave the official word that the holiday party is going to be canceled this year. Not surprising because we're still in the pandemic, but all staff, all departments still 100% on the go. Got a big election coming up in a few days, and so that's obviously a big piece right now. Early voting is happening over at the community center. I know you've been talking about it a lot, and they're really doing a good job in keeping people socially distant over there, and so that's really great to see. My expectation is that most people have already voted. I don't think there's going to be long lines at the polling locations. I believe we are over 62% of people have already voted. And so
Wow.
that's either mailing in their ballot or stopping in for the early voting in person. So already great turnout, and that continues to go up every day.
Yeah, it does. And a special shout out too. We've said it on the show many times that we are so grateful for the clerk staff and all the inspectors and volunteers helping out with the election. It's scary times, and they've been right there in the front lines. And knock on wood, we have kept it safe here in the city of Fitchburg and basically around Wisconsin. I haven't heard of too many cases around Wisconsin, so very grateful for that. And every time I stop in, Aaron, at City Hall, people are dropping off their ballots, or in the last week, definitely have been coming in for their in-person absentee voting. So it's been awesome to see. Any other updates then as far as COVID-19 goes moving forward here?
At this point, we're really expecting City Hall to continue to be closed to the public through the rest of the year. That's the minimum, and that's probably going to be longer than that, frankly, but at minimum through the rest of the year. And then I think the other thing is just looking to see what our state and national governments are going to do in terms of some of the programs that they had this year. Are those getting extended? Are they doing another rounds of those things? COVID's not going away, sadly, anytime soon. So, really looking to see what other programs and other things are coming up. There's going to be a lot happening, and the election might impact some of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, certainly we'll check back in with you on that front as we've been doing month to month here. Aaron, transitioning and something I'm sure a lot of people may have questions on is the budget. You put out your budget earlier in the month, and well, earlier than that, but we're in the midst of the process. Last night, having committee of the whole discussing the budget amendments. Talk about first, in general, just quickly about your budget, and then what do we got left here for the process?
Mhm. It's always a challenging year to do our budget. We actually had the biggest growth in Dane County which is great. And so that enabled us to do more than most, I would guess, I would say. But there's still a lot of challenges and still a lot of hard decisions that have to be made. There's some great ideas that I would love to do, but it's hard for me to say, yeah, let's do extra things and put more things on the plate, knowing the things coming down the road, especially things like the town of Madison. And with additional growth that we have, the continued stress on all of our city services. So I want to make sure that long term we can keep having a great senior center, a great library, great fire, EMS, police force. That, Fact TV, you guys can continue helping us getting the word out to our residents through Talking Fitchburg, through meetings, things like that. I want to make sure we can keep those level of services strong.
Yeah, it's I would, is there any impacts from COVID-19 that played into this year's budget, or obviously there's a lot of things. You've got a unique situation because you got COVID-19. You're also with being the mayor, you've got a longer term, so it's a little bit different that you get to continue to build on your plans that you've been doing. And then again, like you said, all of the plans that were in place and already going, or new plans coming in. How do you how do you take all of that and get where you are today?
It's a challenge, definitely a challenge, and it's really just making sure that we keep the ships, going the right direction. There's some things that we're trying to do to close what I really see as budget holes. Fact TV, your funding is one of those, and you're so important to our city. I want to make sure that long term that's taken care of, and we don't have to worry about that, and we continue providing this access to our residents. So that was one that was really important to me, and that's something that I've tried to do during my time as mayor, and will continue trying to do is where are some of these places that we've been kind of just shielding our eyes and pretending like it's not happening, but it's happening. And town of Madison is going to be the next one to come with that. And it's going to cause a lot of stress on all departments. And so you need to be able to provide extra resources to those departments. So that's kind of where I'm looking at long term and some of the things I've tried to do. And yeah, there's a lot of other things that I want to do, but there's just not room for pet projects and special projects right now. It's really just keep things going. There's so many unknowns with the pandemic. I'm guessing that we're going to have growth next year. It's not going to be as strong as this year. And going forward after next year, it very well could keep going down. We don't know that. And so when you don't have growth, even though we have the best growth in Dane County, and we will continue to be at least in the top, 2, 3 cities, I would imagine, that's tough. That's tough. That's a challenge.
Yeah, you almost, you set the bar so high, but we don't know. It's so hard to say with the pandemic and other factors what direction we're going. So we'll keep an eye on that front as well. And the budget goes now to Common Council as a whole, and you'll work on adopting that at the next meeting coming up in November.
Yeah, I believe that's November 10th. And hopefully that night we'll have a budget that is done and complete and wonderful. And there's nothing that we do that I kind of have to say, oh, I'm going to have to veto a piece of it. That's not my goal. My hope is we can avoid that. I haven't had to do any vetoes during my time as mayor, and I want to continue that streak if I can. So the 10th is really kind of hopefully the last day. And it's obviously a very big day. It's going to be a long meeting with lots of great ideas. Just unfortunately, because of a lot of restrictions from the state level, that we just can't do it all, sadly.
Yeah, and we'll I said we'll keep an eye on it for you. You'll be able to catch that meeting and all of your meetings here on Fact TV on the Gov channel. And a special thank you for considering the funding of Fact TV in your budget. We certainly do appreciate that. Finishing out here is the Mayoral Awards. Kind of snuck in this year, not because we wanted it to be that way, but without getting an in-person piece, we went a little different direction, but that comes out this week. And tell us the good news.
Yeah, it's something I started last year. I really thought it was important to recognize people in the community that have really contributed a lot to the city. And it's meant to be a chance for the city to kind of get together and the community get together and celebrate Fitchburg in general, but also those people. COVID ruins everything, so we couldn't do the in person. So there's no reception this year, but we do have three very worthy, wonderful winners. There's three categories. And so the first one is the resident category. And I recognize Francis Huntley Cooper, former mayor of Fitchburg, involved in a ton of other things, been a longtime leader, not only in Fitchburg, but in the whole area and the whole region. I was doing some research. I knew that she was the first African American mayor in not only Fitchburg, but in the state. What I didn't know, sadly, is she's still the only African American mayor ever elected in the state of Wisconsin. So hopefully that can change soon, but been a trailblazer for a long time. We also recognize someone in the business category. And so this year I recognize Kale Engineering. They're an engineering firm. They do a lot of work with the city of Fitchburg, but also a lot of other municipalities everywhere in the state. And I believe they go to Iowa and Illinois as well. And Kim Lobdell is their owner. She started 29 years ago, female engineer business owner, very unique. Also, again, trailblazer, and she lives in Fitchburg, which is even better. So she not only has her business here, but she lives here as well. And then the final category is staff recognition. And again, that's extremely challenging. I could have picked any department, frankly, and I could go through every department right now and tell you the wonderful things they've done, especially around the pandemic. Go ahead and challenge me if you want. But we did recognize the planning and zoning department this year. They had a very busy year like everyone else. And some of the major things that they worked on was updating the comprehensive plan. They're also working with our Healthy Neighborhoods initiative and the first phase of our hub project on North Pishatchee Road, which is going to be implemented next year. And then even projects like the O'Brien Solar Farms, which is again an innovative, unique project, biggest solar farm in Dane County, and really is going to be something that our residents benefit from as well. The city is buying some of the energy from that. And so that is going to actually reach our 25 by 25% goal years early, and on our way to some of our other bigger goals after that.
Yeah, Aaron, it's something really neat and I'm glad you're doing this awards piece. And this year's winners, all great, great people to add to the what will be our growing list of future winners. As you put this together, Aaron, I mean, it's got to be tough. There's a lot of great things happening in Fitchburg, but boy, I think you really did a great job this year on picking out these folks. When you talk to each one of them, what were they kind of telling you about their reaction to winning the award?
They're all surprised and thankful, gracious. I don't quite have the name recognition of the Oscars, the Grammys, or anything like that yet.
Give it time. Get it time. We'll blow this wide open, Aaron. We can full production value. I'll let you know.
Okay, that's fantastic. Black tie affair in the future.
Yeah.
I think it's something where, I explain to them what I'm trying to do, talk about the winners last year, the winners this year, and they really recognize what kind of company they're keeping and how great those other award winners are. And so, a lot of flattery as well once they kind of learn a little bit more about it.
Yeah, we have a special that's out there that you can check the full we call the full version, but the interview that Aaron did with each of the winners, and we have that out on Fact TV for you now, so you can go out there and check that out. And we do have a shorter version that we have aired here on Fact TV, and again available for you online as well. Aaron, always a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much for the time. Stay safe. Any last messages before we head out?
Go out and vote before Tuesday or on Tuesday. Wear your mask, stay healthy, and have a great November.
Fantastic. Aaron, thank you so much for your time. We'll check back in with you next month.
Thanks for having me, Jeremy.
You bet. Aaron Richardson, mayor of the city of Fitchburg. We try to get him on once a month on the show when he's not too busy. He's a busy guy, but we certainly appreciate his time, and we'll get him back in the month of December. Take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.